that Ireland has this flag in the north and it has this flag in the south. Can anybody tell me what this flag represents? What is this flag? Yes?
The United Kingdom.
The United Kingdom, very good. And what's this flag here? What is this flag? The Irish flag, okay? So just to tell you, it's green, white and orange. And at one time, the whole island of Ireland was part of the United Kingdom. Okay? But in 1922, this part of Ireland became independent. And in the 1940s, we became a republic. The south of Ireland became a republic. There were people who wanted to be part of the United Kingdom, and the colour orange represents those people. After a king called King William of Orange, who took the English throne in the year 1688 from the Catholic King James. And ever since, these people were called orange people, orange men, or orange people. And the green were the people who wanted one nation, one Ireland. So the white, so these are the people who were called nationalists, and these were the people who were called unionists. What do you think the white represents? What does white represent? Can you tell me? Like in war, what does the white flag represent? Peace. Somebody said peace, exactly. So it's peace between the two ideologies, the two ideas that prevail in Ireland. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, will you go? So you see we're on the outskirts of Europe. Good. Now, I'm very happy to see Limerick, Dublin, Waterford and Galway. So just to show you where there is. We are situated in Dublin. Waterford is here. Galway is here. And what else did you say? And Limerick is here. Okay, so it's very, if you go click. It's very easy to navigate around Ireland. For example, from Belfast in the north of Ireland to Dublin in the south of Ireland would only take about 2 hours to drive by car. So it's very easy to go. For example, from the very north to the very south, you're probably talking about a 6-hour drive only, 6-7 hour drive. Next slide, please. Okay, so we already said it's an island consisting of the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. And we're the only English-speaking country in the Eurozone. What is the Eurozone? Can anybody tell me? What is the Eurozone? What's the Euro?
Central Europe.
Huh?
Central Europe.
Yeah, look, the Euro is... What's that? Well, yeah, but it's the ruble, isn't it? But what's the Euro?
Euro.
It's a currency, isn't it?
Yes.
And what's the Eurozone? The Eurozone is the places that use the euro. So, for example, when I was your age, when I went to France, I had to change to French francs. I went to Spain, I had to change to pesetas. I went to Italy, I had to change to lira. I went to Germany, I had to change to Deutschmarks. I went to Holland, I had to change to guilder. Now I just have euro, which makes it very easy for me. But does the United Kingdom use euro? No, what do they use? The pound. Has anybody been to the United Kingdom? Has anyone been to Ireland? Okay, well, I'm going to invite you to Ireland.
We are going in the nearest future.
The future is coming to Ireland. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so the population of Ireland, the Republic, is around 5 million, 4.8. The population of Northern Ireland is 1.5 million. The capital city, Dublin, has a population of 1.5 million. So remember that, because we're going to ask you that later. Okay, next slide, please. these guys are doing. Oh, sorry. Just before we come. Oh, it doesn't matter. We can come to it later. No, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. So these are just some slides of what Ireland looks like. And I was in a classroom there recently in another city in Russia, and the teacher had actually been to these cliffs, and she had shown the students photographs of them. They're called the Cliffs of Moher in the west of Ireland. So there are many beautiful places to visit. Okay, now I just want to tell you something about Irish writers. So you can see this as a kind of an English class as well as everything else. So this writer is called Jonathan Swift, and he wrote a famous book called Gulliver's Travels. And I have been to classes in Russia where they actually are studying extracts from this book called Gulliver's Travels. Jonathan Swift is this man's name. Does anyone know the next guy's name? His name is Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde. The next guy's name is James Joyce. He is one of the most famous writers of the 20th century, and he had a revolutionary style of writing which now is not revolutionary, but when he started in the early 20th century it was considered so. Next slide is a love poet and a mystic called William Butler Yeats. George Bernard Shaw. Samuel Beckett, a Nobel Prize winner, and the last Nobel Prize winner for literature who died a few years ago, his name is Seamus Heaney. Okay, so we'll do that again. The first guy's name is Jonathan Swift. The second guy is Oscar Wilde. The third guy is George Bernard Shaw. The fourth guy is William Butler Yeats. Then we have James Joyce. Then we have Samuel Beckett. And then we have Seamus Heaney. Okay, so remember that. Jonathan Swift, Oscar Wilde, George Bernard Shaw, William Butler Yeats, James Joyce, Samuel Beckett and Seamus Heaney. Now this band, you won't know them probably, but your parents will. They're the most famous rock band ever to come out of Ireland, and they're called U2. These guys you may know are called the Coronas. These guys are called the Script. Now you may know this guy. Do you know him? Hosier is his name. Okay? And see, do you know the name of this guy? I often find the girls in the class know this guy's name. No?
Yes.
Hey, see, I told you. What's his name? Can you remember the name of the band he was in?
One Direction.
One Direction. Very good. And his name is Niall Horan, One Direction. Okay, how many people live, if you have to go and look at click. How many people live in the Republic of Ireland? Can anyone remember?
5 million people.
Yes, around 5 million. Very good. How many people live in Northern Ireland? 1.5 million. How many people live in Dublin? 1.5 million. So Dublin is where we're all heading. We're all going to Dublin. Okay. What's this guy's name? Please tell me. Jonathan Swift. Next guy.
Oscar Wilde.
Very good. Next guy.
George.
Bernard Shaw. This is the difficult one.
Yes.
William Butler Yeats. Next guy. He's the most famous, one of the most famous writers of the 20th century, who revolutionized the way that people wrote novels. His name is James Joyce. This is a difficult one maybe for you. Samuel Beckett, and nobody gets this one. His name is Seamus Heaney. Okay, now we're going to go into something completely different. Is the island of Ireland one country? We just have the first map we saw. Is the island of Ireland one country? No. What are the names of the two parts of Ireland?
North Ireland. North Ireland.
And what's the south called? Ooh, no, it's not Britain.
It was a
The Republic, very good. Thanks, Nasty. Okay. And just the last one, click. Your parents will know who this is. He's the lead singer of a rock band. His name is? I just throw it out. Bono is his name, okay? Bono. Okay, so now we're going on to, what's this group's name?
U2.
U2. The Coronas, very good. The Script, very good. Hosier, yes, and?
One Direction.
One Direction is the band, but what's his name? Niall Horan. Somebody remembers. Very good. Okay, now we have some musical instruments that are famous in Ireland. The first one is called a harp. The second one is an Irish violin, and we call it a fiddle. And the next photograph are a troupe of dancers. So we've got a crowd of people, we have a flock of birds, and we have a troupe of dancers. River dance is a very famous, exciting dance, and the troupe of dancers tour all over the world, and they come to Moscow regularly. It's a very exciting blend of traditional dance from all over, particularly Ireland, but from other countries in the world also, for example from Spain, even from Russia, from the Arab countries, and from modern American dance. It's very exciting to watch. So we now have, if you click it again, this game here is called Gaelic football. When we say soccer, you say football, but we have different types of football. So we say Gaelic football, rugby football, and the game you call football, we call soccer. Okay? So this game, Gaelic football, is a mixture of soccer and rugby football. This game here, you have to click again, is called hurling. It's the fastest game in the world. It's quite dangerous, and you can see these guys are wearing helmets, but this guy is quite silly here behind him. He's not wearing a helmet. It's a very dangerous game. You can imagine the stick could hit you on the head. And some students, when they come to Ireland, go to see these games. Okay? Also, we have golf. Now, something about our famous actors. This guy's name is Colin Farrell. Pierce Brosnan, he's famous for lots of things, but also for James Bond. Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson is famous for lots of movies also, but there's a great movie he's in called Michael Collins, which is a fantastic, exciting movie, but also very good for learning about the history of Ireland. And finally, Gabriel Byrne. Okay, so let's see now who can remember. What's this called? Fiddle. Next. River dance.
Gaelic football.
Gaelic football. Very good. Very good. This game?
Hurling.
Hurling. Okay. Colin Farrell, right. What's his name? Pierce Brosnan, right. Liam Neeson, and nobody gets this, but maybe this class is really good. Gabriel Byrne, okay? So now we want to just look at why study English in Ireland, because there are many different destinations. The English that's spoken in Ireland is clear and easy to understand. I noticed that when you've been studying Ireland, you mentioned the Vikings a few times. And Dublin was originally a Viking town, as was Waterford, for example. And the Vikings spoke Norse when they came to Ireland in 795, which is the end of the 8th century. But shortly after, in the 12th century, the Normans came to Ireland, to Dublin. The Normans came to Dublin, and they brought with them, they were French, or they were Welsh Normans, Cambro Normans, and they spoke the Norman French language. But gradually, as the Normans became English, by the 12th century, we were speaking Middle English. So Dublin had Irish, Norse and Middle English being spoken around the 12th and the 13th century. In the 12th and 13th century, modern English didn't exist. It was the language that Geoffrey Chaucer, for example, used when he wrote the Canterbury Tales. And as modern English evolved, Dublin began to speak it. So the English that's spoken in Dublin has been spoken there for thousands of years, basically, 1,500, well, no, sorry, what am I saying? 1,000 years. We don't have a dialect. It's very clear and easy to understand. Dublin is a safe city, so you're not going to get attacked or anything like that. It's very safe. In 2015 and 18, we were voted as the world's friendliest country by the Lonely Planet. It's a cosmopolitan place with a young, educated population. Young because most of the population in Dublin are under the age of 25. Cosmopolitan because people from all over the world live in Dublin, but everybody speaks English. We're a modern trade-dependent country. In fact, the main reason for that is because the world's multinational companies have located their European headquarters in Dublin. For example, the Microsoft building is beside the junior centre that we use in the summer months. The Microsoft, Intel, Facebook and so on, all Google have their European headquarters in Dublin. And we have one of the best qualities of life in the world according to The Economist. Okay, no, that's not what I want to play now. So if we can just go to the mini state. So here we go. No, don't go to press, go to this. Yeah. So now I just want to tell you something about the mini-state programme, where we invite students from all over the world to come for 1 or 2 weeks during their academic year. Now please, because I know you guys have questions for me, which I'm so delighted to hear, but how long do we have? We have about 10 minutes. Okay, so just to tell you, so this course runs from September to June, and students come with their group leader. The course, so if we want to scroll down a bit. The aim of the course is to improve the cumulative English language capabilities of each student so that you can function in English with confidence. We don't spend that much time on grammar. We focus on communication skills, and particularly speaking, pronunciation and listening. So when you arrive, you're given a menu. Okay? And the menu is the topic that you want to study when you're here during the week. So all of the grammar, all of the listening, speaking, pronunciation, vocabulary will be brought about or be studied through the medium of the topic that you choose. Okay? So what we do is we allow you to become part of what you're learning. Okay? So what's involved? A personalised syllabus created with the students from the first day. So what you're going to study, you negotiate, you talk about that on the first day of the course. You have an individual learning plan, you've got a learner portfolio, so you have your own learner diary, which you keep during the week you're here. You have an online placement test before you arrive. Okay, so you do the test online so that you don't waste any time when you come to class. At the end of the week, you do a presentation, so you break into small groups, and you do a presentation to the rest of the class by the end of the week. Okay? You have host family accommodation, normally sharing accommodation, and at the end of the course you get a certificate. If you like, if your teacher likes, we can do, thank you very much, thank you. You can do an activities program, and you can also do a Saturday excursion. Okay, so scroll down again. You want to scroll down? Sorry. Scroll. Yeah, okay. So there are 3 options available. The first option, you get a transfer, you get full board in a host family, 20 hours of English, morning and afternoon classes, a welcome pack. In the silver package, you get afternoon activities, and in the gold package, you get both afternoon activities and a Saturday excursion. Okay, so now it's over to you guys because I know you have questions for me. So I'd love to hear some questions. Don't be shy. Who's got a question? Yeah, please.
Do you like Russia?
Well, I do, but I was hoping to have some other questions. Of course I like Russia. Of course I like Russia, yeah?
Maybe some questions about
There's questions about Ireland or the course, not about me, okay? Yeah? Yeah, hello, yes? Yeah? This guy.
Is there traditional food in
Yeah, we don't really have cuisine the same way France does, for example, or Italy. The diet in Ireland is much the same as in England, okay? So it's generally meat or chicken or fish, potatoes, rice or pasta and vegetables. That's the basic diet that people have. Dublin is a very cosmopolitan city, so generally people will eat in different restaurants, and even in the host families they will make food. For example, they might make Italian food or Spanish food or American food. It's very varied. The diet is very varied. Okay, another, yeah?
How many lessons a day?
Very good question, very good question. You've got 4 lessons a day. Okay, that's a very good question. Another question? I know you've prepared questions for me, so you can't be shy. Your teacher has
Не
told me.
стесняйтесь, пожалуйста, ребята, у вас есть возможность use the opportunity to ask questions.
Yeah?
What subjects are taught in your schools?
In our schools, what I'm talking about is purely English language, but in our schools we have all subjects, and I think like Russia, the students do not specialise in science or humanities subjects until very late. In other words, it's not like Italy, for example, where students will decide what subject they want to do when they're 12. Like they go into, if they want to become an airline pilot, for example, they might go into a school like that at 12 years of age. In Ireland, everybody does more or less the same curriculum until they're about 18 years of age. More questions? Yeah?
What's your favorite instrument?
What's my favourite instrument? The guitar, I suppose, but I don't play it very well. Now, yes?
The most famous artist in Ireland.
The most famous, Louis de Brockie, probably, artist, yeah? Next one, yeah? Yeah. Sorry?
How expensive is medicine?
How expensive is
Medicine.
medicine? Medicine, well, you have when you come to Ireland, everybody gets medical insurance before you come, okay? So it doesn't really affect you. Medicine in Ireland is quite expensive. It's more expensive than it is in other European countries. But you don't have to worry